So obviously with my dad being in the forces, we was very centred around the forces, so we would always attend forces events, stuff like that. I was always the army child. Whenever we went to these events, it was always me dressing up in camouflage, getting stuck in.
Looking back on my time in the military, it's something I'm very proud of. Both my parents were in the Second World War. Just felt I could do it, and I'm happy I met so many different people from different walks of life with the same feelings and basically wanted to serve your country.
It taught me a great deal about how a well-trained and disciplined individual can accomplish amazing things, but more so how a group of well-trained individuals can move mountains.
When he was medically discharged from the army, he struggled to integrate back into being within a normal environment, but unfortunately his PTSD overtook his mental health, and he was then medically put into the Priory and sectioned twice.
Returning to civilian life after being on tour in Iraq, 2003, 2004 and Afghanistan, it was quite difficult, particularly after 2010. It was a struggle. It was a struggle because as a reservist we don't get the same support, sadly, as you would have done as a regular soldier.
The transition between is obviously a complete change of lifestyle, almost, from that kind of very regimented life. Your relationships shift and you've just lost all these brilliant people who've got your back and have to go out and make new friends and weigh people out and, you know, weigh up who you want to let close to you, whereas in the army you're all part of the same team and you're there to help each other, whereas in the real world sometimes people's kindness is mistaken for weakness and they get taken advantage of.
So after my dad had died, we was put into a bit of a dark area. We didn't know how to go forward. I definitely became more reserved to myself. I had quite a toxic masculinity in the stance of you don't talk about your emotions, and at that time that definitely came out. I refused to speak about how I felt, and I would always bottle it up. I didn't want to be seen to be upset. I didn't want to be seen as weak. It was hard. It was definitely a real big struggle. It definitely just made me feel a bit disgusted in the way of my own behaviour, and I wanted to better myself, not just for myself but for everybody else around me. So I decided that's when I need to actually do something about it.
Well, unfortunately I became homeless about 2 years ago, and I've got a little workshop where I managed to just have a safe place where I could lock the door, a little bit of shelter, so that I wasn't actually on the streets. And that's where Hull for Heroes have really done me a brilliant service, because they've applied pressure to the council. I can't apply pressure because then I get told off for being, angry or raising my voice when I'm trying to get my point across. But if I've got professionals advocating for me, and that's what they've done. I think they've been the best advocates for getting me into the right place I could ever wish for.
I was very much on my own, with my own thoughts. I was feeling quite depressed and had lots of flashbacks and things from PTSD, and I couldn't function properly. But going to Hull for Heroes and meeting the gang there, who were all ex-military, most of them ex-military, it made a difference to my life, the fact that it gave me a reason to get up in the morning.
The first time going to a GEO meeting, obviously GEO is set up around military men, is a military men's talking group, and being neither a man nor in the military, I didn't know how I would take to it and how others would take to me, but I knew straight away, as soon as walking into that room, I was welcome with open arms. It was fantastic. It was informal, but so supportive at the same time. I was able to actually open up and speak about everything, and I wasn't judged. And the best part about it is the humour. You can make an awful situation funny, and that's how I really did feel back for when my dad was here. It was back to just how everything was, and thanks to that, that's what really did help me get back on track.
I'm actually really well, and in the space of just a few weeks since meeting Hull for Heroes, my mental health as well as my physical health has improved. I'm eating properly now. I'm not as stressed out as I was because I know that there's somebody looking out for me.
Well, we know that veterans and veterans' families, wives, they have difficulties when they transition from the military. And what we do is we try to set up a friendly peer group support where people can talk openly about what is going on in their hearts and in their minds.
Lisa's Ladies is a safe space for all age groups. We're not counsellors, we're a talking group, and we help each other. We laugh, cry, and sometimes you need that. You can't say it to your family, and we've seen a most amazing improvement in lots of ladies.
Everybody thinks the charity is about raising money, but it's not. It's about raising awareness as well. So we like to attend as much as we can to get our name out there as much as possible, because if that one person sees it on the TV or walks into a room that we've got a stand in, that could be that one person that needs our help.
So there's a few people come along, they'll see who we are, they have a little chat to us, they ask what we do. Generally, nobody really asks at an event for help. Well, they might mention that they may be struggling with this one little thing, and obviously we'll pass that help across to them there and then. But generally, it is they see who we are, and you tend to see them a couple of days later popping in for a cup of tea into the drop-in centre. And like I said earlier, then 2 weeks down the line, they ask for help.
Well, the drop-in centre's there. It opens 6 days a week, and any veteran, family member can come. They may be on their own, or there may be groups of people there. They can go and sit and chat with people.
5 and 0, blind 50.
The staff and the volunteers at Hull for Heroes are very passionate about what they do. I've come into a family, and even for me as well, they always check on my well-being because I'm listening to everybody else's problems.
Hull for Heroes quite quickly became my life. You don't get to go home from it like you would a normal job. You don't leave the office and think, right, that's it, I don't have to think about it till tomorrow morning. It is constantly a part of your life, and I think that's ingrained in most of the staff that work here, is they also feel the same about it. The people that are involved are passionate because they see what it does.
Most challenging part is the homeless and suicide, especially amongst men. Men tend not to talk, men tend to just crack on, do the action, but all they need to do is talk. So that's where I find I struggle a little bit.
So for us at the moment, housing is probably our main issue, and if you've spoken to the other members of staff, you'll probably find the same. It's people who are in financial difficulty, marriage breakdowns, drug and alcohol addictions, all sorts of things that can cause them to become homeless or potentially be losing their home. And we've got nowhere to put them. There is a massive housing crisis in Hull and across the country.
Hull for Heroes is a place that is built to help, and they're there to reach out the hand and pull you from that dark moment. And the main thing that comes across is they care. You get that feeling of warmth, that kind of family feeling. But yeah, and all it takes is for that person to reach out the hand and say, you know, I could do with a little bit of help.
So if it wasn't for Hull for Heroes, I genuinely don't believe that I would have been able to get to where I am today. The support network is absolutely phenomenal. The amount of incredible people I've spoken to, it is a family. It is like a family. You just know that they're always going to be there.